President Carter, how will you address entitlement programs? Will you continue or stop funding?
I'd like to talk about a more pressing issue, actually. Our economy. I am definitely, actually regarding my opponent's last statement about raising the minimum wage, I feel that raising the minimum wage is very important, along with raising the interest rate, because you'll have more money to spend and it's more affordable to buy things. Along with that, jobs are created through the energy program that I'm developing, which is beneficial to everybody by creating jobs while also supporting sustainable energy.
Governor Reagan, do you have a response?
To your question or to
President Carter?
No, I do not.
What will you do for entitlement programs?
I would end them all. First, I would like to say that Social Security, being one of the main ones, was never set up to be a permanent solution. It was set up to be a temporary solution during the height of the Great Depression. Sooner or later, it will run out of money. Because of this, we need to lower the tax rate. With lower tax rates, as I said before, allow Americans to earn more of their paycheck and thus let them plan out their lives financially better.
President Carter, do you have a response?
No.
For publicized education, how will you address the illiteracy rate in children in our public schools?
Well, I've begun by doing that by creating the Department of Education, and that puts a huge emphasis on our children and our youth. I believe that it's extremely important that this department stays, whereas my opponent would like to cut departments like this for the sake of increased military spending, which we don't really need right now. I've put a huge, important measure on our youth and ensuring our future, and that ensuring that our future is in good hands. And I believe that better schooling, more affordable schooling for those in poverty is extremely important in ensuring our future as Americans and ensuring that we have a country that is still intelligent and smart 30 years from today.
Governor Reagan.
I'd like to point out there's a reason I oppose the Department of Education. It's because there are a lot of schools that throughout our country which are run down and barely passing any kind of standard. Because of this, I would like to decrease funding and encourage grants for charter schools to allow parents to choose whichever school they would like their children to attend. This way we can help with our literacy rate and improve our children's knowledge.
President Carter, do you have a response?
Well, partially the reason that I established the Department of Education was to ensure that the federal regulations regarding discrimination are followed in our schools, which my opponent doesn't seem to care too much about. Discrimination in schools is a huge thing, and discrimination in our country is a huge thing. And everyone needs equal treatment in terms of schooling and in the eyes of the law.
Governor Reagan, where do you stand with the Second Amendment? What will your policy be?
I am a firm supporter of the Second Amendment, and I am a lifelong member of the NRA, and I believe that the Second Amendment right should not be infringed ever. Our nation was founded by men who had weapons to defend themselves from the tyranny of the British. And the reason the Second Amendment was set up was for, in any case, God forbid, such a tyrannical government should spring up, we have the ability to defend ourselves and get rid of this government.
President Carter, do you have a response?
Regarding my opponent's view on the Second Amendment, we've discussed in Congress that regulations can be placed on the Second Amendment. We don't live in a country where there's a tyrannical government trying to take everyone's guns away. In my first term as president, I wanted to put regulations on purchasing handguns as well as background checks to ensure that guns aren't going into the wrong hands and that not everyone with a little bit of money can have that kind of firepower in their hands.
Do you have a response?
I'd like to say that guns aren't bought by criminals. They are stolen from responsible owners and police. And There's nothing good about a registration or some kind of national registry for our guns. Freedom is only a generation away from being taken away from us. And because I'm afraid of that, any kind of registration will allow any kind of government to know who has guns and who doesn't, allow the government to take away our guns easier.
President Carter, what will your administration do for drug control in our country?
Regarding drug control, I believe it starts at our borders and in our schools, and that means that early education, enforcing that from a young age that drugs are wrong and that they won't get you anywhere in life is extremely important. Along with that, our borders, there is an influx of drugs coming in from the south. We need heavier regulations regarding drugs coming into the country. That being said, drugs in the country is a huge result of the crime in the country, or better yet, they coincide with each other. But I believe it starts at a young age, and we need to implement major comprehensive school programs for knowledge about drugs and their negative effects.
Governor Reagan, what will your administration do for drug control?
I believe in encouraging family values, as strong parenting will help prevent this influx of drug use. I believe that parents should teach their children moral principles and the evils of drug use. I believe the drugs entering from the southern borders are a problem. So, to add to my earlier statements about the border, I will enforce the border to stop this influx of drugs.
President Carter, how will your administration address women's rights and issues?
I've always been an advocate of women's rights, and I think my first term as president ensures that. I'm an advocate of everybody's rights, regardless of race, gender, whatever you are. You should be treated equally in the eyes of the law. I supported the Equal Rights Amendment, even though it was declined by Congress, which would propose the same wages for men and women across America. And I also have various females in my executive branch. I'm a huge advocate for women's rights and the equal treatment of everybody. And I think my first term states that pretty clearly.
Governor Reagan, do you have a response?
I'd like to say that I'm an avid supporter of equal rights for everyone, but I'd like to say that President Carter does not support women's rights because he has been staunchly against abortion and has vetoed any bills, while I, as governor of California, have passed the therapeutic abortion bill, which will allow abortions for mothers who are in danger of harm if they were to give birth.
How will your administration handle women's rights?
There's really no clear-cut way to solve this issue. It's something that we as a society must improve upon by stronger relations with everyone within our community and improving our relations.
President Carter, do you have a response?
I do. Regarding my apparent viewpoints on abortion, I'm a very deeply religious man. I don't necessarily believe in abortion. However, I don't legislate my religion. I don't think abortion is necessarily right. However, under certain circumstances, it shouldn't be okay. Or it should be okay under certain circumstances. I did not ask Congress to change any laws on it or amendments, and I feel very strongly about it. I want to discourage abortion through comprehensive sex education in our schools and prevent further unplanned tragedies through family planning and adoptive procedures.
Governor Reagan, do you have a response?
I like to disagree with President Carter because he has been against every abortion topic that's been in his administration. I do not believe in just general abortions. I believe abortion should be allowed if there is a clear danger to the mother or if the baby is a product of incest or rape.
President Carter, What in your background and history has led you to be a great president? Or, yeah.
Well, from a young age, being a peanut farmer in Georgia, I learned the importance of work ethic and hard work and what it takes to succeed and to stay resilient, and that the night is always darkest just before the dawn, so that no matter how bleak any situation may look, I always have hope, and I'm sure our country does too. And I think we need to put the issues aside for a second and think about our future and our kids' future and their children's children when they're having children's future.
Governor Reagan, you've been criticized for only being an actor. What makes you believe that you can be a great president?
I believe that while people say that an actor cannot become a president, I say that it's false, because aren't presidents actors too?
President Carter, do you have a response?
Presidents are not actors, they're presidents. That's what I'll say about that.